Hey guys, Kelly Gorsuch here for the Workroom. Today we're going to take a look at the grip, and then I will just basically describe to you how it's evolved for me through the years. It's a simple piece, but we do it all the time, so let's take an in-depth look at it now. Alright guys, let's first take a look at how we were taught. So I was taught to comb that hair and then drag my fingers side by side to my cut point. Okay, so the problem for me was always that I would get more tension on my knuckles and less tension in between. So in hair school we used to talk about not cutting past your second knuckle. Well, it didn't matter to me because I still had a loose spot right there, which I still do today. And I have a giant loose spot past my second knuckle, which I still do today. So I had a real problem like cutting hair in hair school, and especially like if I wanted no elevation out of my cuts. It's really hard to get no elevation when you're a finger depth away from the face at all, or the neck, or any of your cut points at all times to begin with. So what I found happened over the years was I started to take my section, and then I changed my comb from being also horizontal to kind of bringing that comb straight up, and that gave, like, as it wrapped around the comb, it gave this natural tension to it. So I would do that, use that to get this perfect tension all the way up to my cut point, and then I would overlap. So I would put one finger over the other sideways. All right, and so you see that our grip switch. Now what's going on is I have really good tension all the way through, even though I'm not squeezing this at all. I'm holding it really, really lightly. And this allows me to be able to cut the whole length of the finger now. So it makes my cutting, and since I do these individual cuts, I'm already slower than most because I'm not flying through and doing blunt cutting most of the time. I'm usually cutting very quickly in a deep point cut manner. Sometimes it's a little bit more tip point cutting, but most of the time it's a deep point cutting. So I'm gonna pull up, hold to my cut point, and then come off, right? I'm not dragging ever. So you'll see my fingers kind of come up with it, and then I hold, but I'm never dragging. And then that gets me to my cut point, and then I can come through and make my quick cut. Just loosening that up. I'm still trying to keep a solid line, and then comb down. And that'll alleviate a lot of your holding problems and allow you to get through the haircut much, much faster. Especially on the bang area, where I can comb down and then just slip my finger in, and I'm just about shape fall on that, and then holding, and then I can move up if I want. And none of my cut point move with me because there is no difference in tensions in there. And you can do that several different ways, either elevating and then putting it on and then coming up over top, or like I just did, coming as close to shape fall as possible, and then I kind of reverse my hand and cut into it. One of the main things, the key things I like about this technique is I'm not getting this bend. So I do a lot of dry cutting. So when I bring up the hair, I want that hair to come straight up off of my hand as long as I can get it. So sometimes it can be pretty high. And then that way it's not dropping over. So what I found was if I was doing it side by side, you would almost always bend over on one side or the other because you have a natural tendency for these fingers to not be exactly parallel, which even for me, if I do that, I still get that like drop over. All right, so once I come to the side-by-side method, I can slowly move up, and then I can attack my cut point. All right, I hope this was helpful information for everyone. I know that when I was starting out in hair school, this was a struggle. It was a struggle to learn. None of this came natural to me. So just describing this after years and years of it changing and evolving on its own, I think will be extremely helpful to anybody getting out in this industry, maybe even some of you out there who are more in intermediate or advanced phase in your career. One of the things I just want to preface everything I do with, I really don't believe there's a right and a wrong for any techniques. Even though I've evolved out of the side-by-side, I think it still has a place. And I want to be clear that at the end of the day, I truly believe that as long as the guest looks great, you did it right. And that's all that matters to me. So we're all pretty good hairdressers at the end of the day. I hope you like this information. I hope it changes your life in a small way or a big way. And if you like the information, please hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it, and thanks for dropping in on the workroom in our videos. Thanks.